Sorry, I think of iCarly when I did that.
Oh.
All right, guys, it's welcome to Look Into the Glass. We have Sela.
Hello.
Me, Giselle. And Sabrina today.
Apparently John is running under cables.
I don't even know if they caught that, but okay. So today we're gonna have more conversations, or Sabrina's story. If she wants it to be a story or conversation, it's up to her. Do you want to start us off, or do you want me to ask a question?
Yeah, go for that.
I still don't know where to start. I know a lot. That's the thing is I know in a major part of it, and like I know you've told me how your parents had you and your grandma raised you.
Yeah.
And maybe start there. Nerves, I know, it's nerves.
And then Sela's just like all smiles, like can't wait to get this started.
Well, she doesn't know very much.
I know nothing. So I'm like, yes, tea.
She gets to learn about you, my best friend. So that's where it is she gets to learn about you. You're her adopted daughter.
So. I know.
So fill me in.
All right. So I guess I don't really know where to start per se.
Your mama birthed you.
My mama birthed me. Some shit happened. She was 18, not ready to be a mom. Basically, and just kind of left me at my grandma's house. Which is perfectly fine because my grandma's my bestie and I love her. So it turned out for the better regardless.
So she made the right decision.
Yeah, for sure. I really don't know what I would do without that woman. I love my grandmother. She's the best.
I do want to ask you, because I don't think I've ever asked you, is because I know that later down the road your mom and your dad had your siblings. And they raised them. How did I ever,
when you were younger, how did that affect you?
So, you know how y'all were talking about, like, with one of y'all's interviews, like, you got to do, like, a deep dive, and y'all were talking about, like, the DMT and unlocking a lot of your memories? I don't have a lot of memories from that time.
Okay, so you
I have very I have very vivid memories of certain moments,
but that's about
in that time of my life. But as far as like reasonings or like everyday life, I have no memories of that.
So you pretty much locked and keyed and thrown that to the back.
So like my first memory with my mom, outside of just like birthdays, was when I was 13. And basically
that's pretty old.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot locked away there.
Yeah.
I was 13, and pretty much it was like my coming of age, and she was the one that talked to me about like my period and all of like the girly things, because my grandma very much is old fashioned, didn't talk about those things. Those things you just didn't talk about. So either I had to learn stuff like through school, or I had to learn it from my mom. So that's where my mom kind of stepped in and was my mom. Mm-hmm. In that case. But then directly afterwards, when I turned 14, I had my first time, and I told a family friend about it. I confided in her because she was kind of like the auntie, my cool auntie. Mm-hmm. When really she was just like this really older lady that used to be my mom and my uncle's teacher way back in school. She lived like a couple blocks from us, but she got along with my grandmother really well. And I confided in her, and she's the one that decided, like, this needs to go to your grandma. And my grandma told my mom, and my mom took me to go get a plan B, and I had this whole pregnancy scare at 14, and it was crazy.
But when you were 14, it was you consensually.
Yeah, it was consensual. It was my first boyfriend, and he was kind of pushy, but he was cute, and
Wanting
so
to impress.
yes. So it started out as the cute boyfriend, and then it started more like touching, and then it got
Was he
into-
older?
Just a year older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he later on did turn into the abuse as a high schooler.
Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, we can get into that. So he became more of like, it started out, he was, how do I explain this? My boyfriend, but he talked to my best friend, and then that ended that friendship, and then he decided that no, he did want to keep with me, that I was his favorite out of the two of us, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So he ended up choosing me long term. We were together 6 years in total, on again, off again kind of thing, because I was a bullheaded teenager and I broke up with him all the time. But I allowed myself for all the abuse as well. It was a lot of, well, nobody else is going to want you because of your size. Nobody else is going to want you because your mom and dad didn't want you.
Ouch.
And then it turned into physical abuse. There was times that we got in an argument over like little things, or like he would walk a girl home, and I'm like, dude, you live like less than a block from the school. I see you walking them home. I'm not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what the girls' intentions are, because the girls that he would walk home were the girls that were known for sleeping around in the school, that have been caught on multiple times, given head in the parking lot kind of girls.
Okay.
So I'm like,
so he's walking home to fish.
Yeah,
in
easy
other
access
words.
girl.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're not getting it from me right now, so you're gonna go try to get it from yourself.
Well, and that behavior kind of goes with when you losing your virginity to him.
Yes.
It's the same kind of behavior.
Yeah. So and that happened all afterwards. So like, it really did start out as a good relationship. It turned out very genuine in the beginning, and then it just kind of progressively got worse.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah. And that's typically how narcissistic abuse and the things that he was saying to you are very much of what narcissists say to their partners, to wear them down and make them feel they've got to, well, we got to worship you because you're with me and you chose me, and that's the way they want us to look at them.
Very much so. That's pretty much exactly what it was. And then, so we would argue about like the girls that he would talk to and stuff like that, because this man was the only one that I talked to in the entirety of the school. I didn't have lunch. It got to the point where I didn't have lunch with people. I had lunch with my mom because my mom was a teacher. So I would go and have lunch in her room, and if she was busy or had like a parent-teacher meeting or whatever, I would eat in the bathroom, like by myself.
Wow. That's fucked up.
Like, so I didn't have like any outside contact friend-wise.
Can I ask you, was that because of him, or was that because you just were going through your own thing?
It was bullies, him, and another assailant.
So there was combination. Yeah. Okay.
So that happened. And so whenever we would have arguments, it would turn into fights. There was times that like I was curled up in a ball on the floor and he's just like whacking at me, and his mom's in the other room, not doing anything.
Wow.
And it got to the point my senior year, he threw me across the bed, and that Taurus bullheadedness came out finally, after years, and I got up and I threw him across the wall, and I just about suffocated him. And I'm just screaming at him.
And this was years of being beat on.
Yes.
You finally
At this
unleashed
point, at this point, it's been 4 years. I'm like, you're never going to touch me like this. So
basically, at this point, you're fighting for your life.
Yeah. Like, you're not going to do this to me anymore. You're not going to touch me like this anymore. I'm not accepting this anymore.
Yeah.
And we took about a year break and got back together, and we should not have gotten back together. So when we got back together, he proposed to me. It was really cute. He did like a whole Pokeball thing. It was really cute. And that night, we went to go tell his mom, but before we could tell his mom, he was going to go take a shower. And I looked at his phone while he was in the shower, and there's 15 other girls on Facebook sending him pictures, talking about meetups, and all this other stuff. And that's when I finally was just like, I'm not doing this anymore.
If you were to marry him, you would be dealing with that.
Yeah, every day. And
then you have to go through a whole bunch of legal things to get away from that.
Yeah, and I'm just not doing that anymore. The reason we got back together is because I finally admitted my high school assailant. So in middle school, again, we didn't talk about, me and my grandma, we didn't talk about like our bodies. I didn't know anything. My mom would just tell me like, how to put in a tampon, how to start like doing pads and stuff like that. We never talked about anything further than that. So in 6th grade, boy, the same class, he would try to sit next to me or sit behind me, and he would like reach under the table and like play with like his fingers across my back, or like pop my underwear from behind. And so I would like try to scoot up like away from it, and then it started out as that, and then it was like summer school, and I'm wearing like the jeans with like the holes in it started coming in. And so then he would try to sit next to me and like stick his finger in there, like rub my thigh. If I wore like a dress, he would try to like touch under my dress and everything. I very much tried to avoid him as best I could, but he was also in dyslexia classes with me. In our dyslexia classes,
in a very intimate, small.
There's only 3 students in there with a teacher.
Yeah, you're already in a small town.
Yeah, you're already in a small town, so there's very, very intimate and possible alone times with them.
Yeah, significant amount. We had like 20 to 25 kids in a class, but our dyslexia classes, there was only 3 students in there with 1 teacher. So that way the teacher had time to do one-on-ones with you.
Exactly.
And so whenever she would have one-on-ones with a third, it's just us 2 left alone.
Oh.
So it was very much, he fingered me underneath the table on numerous accounts where I couldn't like get up and walk away.
You just didn't know
what to do. Yeah. I just like sat through it.
Yeah, you don't know what to process. You're in middle school. That process.
And you're in the classroom, like, wow.
Yeah, like this is really happening, and it never clicked with me what was going on, what was happening, what this was. It was always just like, this feels very awkward. This feels very wrong. Mm-hmm. But I was always told like, if you're doing something wrong, you don't speak about it. Mm-hmm. If something's going bad, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it.
Don't say anything at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, I was a junior in high school. Again, this was one of our off periods with Logan. That was his name. Logan was my boyfriend when I was 14. He was my first timer. Okay. That was the abuser. Manuel was his name. That started off at 7th grade.
Which most likely something was being done to him.
More than likely, because later on, I found out that I was not the only one.
Yeah, most likely something was done to him, because that's the age where they really start reenacting that stuff.
Yeah.
And they start, I know from firsthand experiences, that's what's, going on there.
Yeah.
but it doesn't make it any less dramatic or anything.
Right.
Like, I mean, like that's wow.
It started,
especially in school where you're supposed to be safe.
Yeah. So my sophomore year, we got a grant to have a police officer on standby at the school, and he was there for like any talks or anything like this. So me and Logan had one of our off periods. We weren't together at this time, and I was in and out of the doctor's office because later find out I had a tumor. But at this time, I was still trying to figure out like why I was having all of these pains. Since I started my period and everything, I've always had like back pains or anything. And doctors always tried to tell me that, oh, well, you're constipated, oh, well, you're this, you're that, and like medicate me different ways. So I had just got back from the doctor's office. I was out for like 3 or 4 days, majority of that week. And so I missed like a poetry assignment. And I remember going back to school and in my English class, and he was telling me, there's the back section of the library where all of the poems are. If you'll go in there and grab one of the poetry books and you write an essay on it, I'll give you the same I gave the other students. It's 2 days to write it, what your thoughts are, and then write a poem that correlates with that poem. And English was my favorite class. And it just so happened to be the student that he sent me to library with, because we had to go in pairs, because it was on the other side of campus, and was Manuel. And so he was supposed to go over there, not for the poetry books, but he was supposed to go over there for some other like assignment that we were doing in class. But he showed me the poems, and then he walked back, to whatever he was doing. And so they're smaller shelves anyway. They're on like the elementary shelves. They're only like 3 high. So I got down and just squatted down and like was looking through them, kind of like reading through them. And he had come up behind me and grabbed my hair. I had my hair in a ponytail, and he grabbed my hair at the base of my ponytail and like grabbed the side of my head and shoved his dick down my throat.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I didn't know what to do. I was basically in shock at that point. Like, I didn't hear anything unzip. I didn't hear like him coming up behind me. All I felt was the grab on my ponytail, and he like grabbed underneath the side of my face and just shoved it down my throat. And he did a couple of pumps, and that was it. He zipped back up and walked away like nothing ever happened. Didn't say anything, didn't make a noise, nothing.
And do you think that you weren't the only one that he did shit to?
I don't know if anybody ever went that far. He went that far with anybody. But a lot of other girls in the school that were in my class had come out and said, yeah, he's very touchy-feely kind of guy.
Okay, so you don't know how far his extent was with anybody else.
Yeah,
with you.
I've seen it in the middle of class. He did it to another girl that I was friends with at the time, and another one of my old coworkers that I was also in the class with, Rosie. She had like a sleepover one year. I want to say this was freshman year, so 9th grade. And she had a boy-girl sleepover. The boys were in another room, and the girls were in another room. Well, one of the girls that was there spent the night with them. I know that they had made out, and he was very touchy-feely with her. But he never had like a girlfriend in high school. He never had like, so I don't know if he just took this as like people that he was just trying to sleep with, or I don't know what it was. But I didn't have his phone number. We never texted. We never talked in the middle of class.
He just
sought me out.
Wow. That's horrifying.
So I finally, this has been going on for 4 years now at this point.
Jesus.
And then that happened. And so I finally confided and told Logan. Oh, of course, Logan's going through all the abusive shit right now with me. And so he basically told me, like, I'm never going to touch you again because you're sullied, basically.
You're tainted.
You're tainted.
Yeah. You're no longer.
You have to go tell the police officer about this. Like, he needs to be defied for this.
I mean, yeah, you needed to go tell the police officer, but not before Logan, but for you.
Yeah.
But on top of that, he made you feel like shit.
Yeah.
For something that wasn't even your fault.
So I never...
You didn't even have time to even process, let alone time to defend or anything.
Yeah,
like,
I bawled my eyes out because I'm a teenager and I'm like, I love this man. Like, he's...
I think even as an adult, you would be bawling your eyes out. Like, so as a teenager, it makes it that much harder, damn.
All those emotions.
Yeah. And like, I love him, like, and he thinks that I'm dirty because it's happened to me. And so and he didn't even go with me.
He didn't even go with you to support you.
No.
Of course not.
No. He's like, you need to go tell the police officer, like, today. Otherwise, I'm not speaking to you.
Jesus.
So I skipped my theater class that day. And I went and talked to the police officer by myself. And I went to school the next day, and the police officer, talked to him about it. The police officer did get back to me, and it's like, we're not going to take it to his parents just yet. I did go ahead and let him know, like, this wasn't right. This isn't the thing that you do. And so he didn't even, like, parents didn't get involved or anything.
Are you kidding me?
What the hell?
Are you fucking kidding me?
That should have actually been taken to the actual police.
That should have been... That SO did not do his fucking job.
Wow.
So
it was brushed off.
Yeah, brushed off. He just gave Manuel a very stern talking to. Basically.
Did no good.
So apparently...
No further investigation? Nothing, huh?
He just said that if it happens again, let me know, and, we'll take it.
And, like, you want to go... if it happens again.
Well, yeah. What do you mean if it happens again? It's your job to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So it shows that sexual assault is very much swept under the rug.
So, which made me feel even more like this is
dirt.
We just don't talk about this.
Yeah.
This is why we don't talk about this. So I went to class, and at this point, he's already talked to me. And so the friends that I did have left over were friends with him.
Oh.
And so they're like, why are you lying on him? You're going to ruin his credibility, and he's supposed to get this scholarship to go to this school next year. And if they tell his parents on all this,
Can I ask you what the scholarship was for?
For welding.
For welding. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
like
not sports.
Oh, okay.
I knew where you were with that.
I'm like, well, out here, it's sports is king.
I mean, we have a whole another episode on the one that happened up in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But I know how it is with my kids' school.
It still could happen with the welding because
Yeah.
I mean, without out here, it's agricultural and
Yeah, the
all
ag
that.
big time.
He was in FFA and all of this stuff, and so the only thing I was in was band and theater.
So you were like the nerdy kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nerdy fat kid that nobody liked.
Yeah. In a small town school.
Yeah.
You know how that is.
So, and like I said, the girl that he did make out with at that sleepover and stuff very much became, her name was Amanda, and she very much became like my bully, which she already didn't like me. Because she would make fun of me, so I would make fun of her. It was one of those things, which it still doesn't make it right. And I have apologized to her, since I've become an adult. Like, the way I treated you back was not right. And she's apologized to me as well, but at that time.
At that time, you're living in your traumas.
Yeah.
You're living in your traumas. You don't know how, when you're 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, you don't know how to not live in your traumas.
And especially when you have multiple.
Especially when you have, to the degree that you have.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Amanda threatened to beat my ass, and it was this whole thing because I went and told the police officer on
Because
him.
he said the truth.
But it never stopped.
He continued?
He continued all the way up to my senior year.
Just sought you out in every...
Sought me out in every aspect. And band, I will never forget every single band ride. Because we had boys on one side of the bus, girls on one side of the bus.
Uh-huh.
So, and then a lot of the times when you go to football games, like if you're in the band, we'll just take the instruments on the separate truck. If your parents there, then they'll release you to your parents on for like the away games if you want to go back home with your parents instead of waiting for the bus to get there at the school. So the bus was always a lot more quiet on the way home. And so because our names would line up in the seating chart, so he always sat across from me. And so he would take his shoes off and he would take his feet and go like lay across the aisleway, and he would try to touch me with his feet in different ways like that.
Oh my gosh.
He had like an obsession with you.
Absolutely.
Like,
did it ever go past that sexual assault of the oral? Has he ever gone past that part?
Mm-mm.
It never made it.
No.
That's still horrifying.
No. I never even had his number or Snapchat or Facebook, or we never had any contact. We didn't even talk like in band. We never, like, we might have had like one or two conversations together. It was never, he never even talked to me.
Wow. That is insane.
He abused you, but yet never even said a word to you, really.
That, I can't even imagine. And you're sitting here probably going, what the hell did I do to bring this on him?
Yeah.
Because we immediately blame ourselves.
It's always something that we did. It's always something that we said, or something that we portrayed, or I shouldn't have been there alone, or,
I should have done this differently.
Uh-huh.
Because we immediately do that once those things start happening. We blame ourselves. We don't know how to blame them.
Yeah.
I know that that's not the only one that you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've been through others. I don't know if you're open to talking about them.
You're doing really good, by the way.
You're doing fantastic. I know that I don't know how early on those started, because I know you.
Deep breath.
Like I said, I have all the juicy. I don't know all the juicy details. I just know,
So when I said I have some, like, got pee?
I got pee.
We can pause. All right, well, welcome back from that funny break.
That was a great break. Y'all got to miss out on that fun part.
Okay, yeah.
So we all went through that horizon of messes with.
So that was middle school to high school. So, like I was saying, I only have like very vivid, sparse memories of when I was younger. So I remember what like my mom's house looked like, vividly, like from my height at the time.
I have big memories like that. Aren't they crazy?
Yeah.
Like,
and then
I remember the kitchen table being up here.
Yeah.
Like,
and so do you ever have you ever gone back to like your childhood home and just like sat on the floor?
Well, kind of, but yet no.
It was very like eye-opening to me when
I was at my grandmother's house and stuff like that, but it didn't really change. It was I have a memory from when I was like 2 years old, and it was like my first memory of my dad. Actually, I was probably like 2. maybe 3, somewhere in there. But I remember my cousins telling me, "Oh, your dad's coming," you know, da da da. And I was like, "Oh." And I remember my aunt, them getting me washed up and cleaned up, you know. And they were like, "Don't you want to look pretty for your daddy?" And I was like, kind of like, I don't know.
Right.
I'm oblivious and kind of look very confused, apparently, because I remember them going, "Don't you know who your dad is?" Like, that's my first memory. And it's kind of funny. I remember walking through the kitchen or the dining room and the table being like up here, and the chairs looking so giant, like I was Alice in the Wonderland or something. And walking in, and I remember that my dad walking in, and my cousins going, "Uncle Mike!" And I went, "Uncle Mike!" Sorry.
That's great. So yeah, going along with that, I was probably like 6 or 7 because my brother and sister are twins. And they're exactly 3 years, 3 days younger than me.
Okay.
So I remember going over there and spending the night, and my dad, of course, at this time, he was 18 when he had me, so he's mid-20s at this point, and so he had porn mags, you know, and so my brother and sister apparently had gotten a hold of some of them and like had them hidden underneath the dresser. And
how old were they at the time?
So I was like 6 or 7, so they would have been like 4 or 5.
Okay.
3 or 4. I want to say that they were probably more 5. Yeah, because I remember them being like toddler stage with their little chunky little legs. And so, but I was going through putting up something for Mom. My mom wanted me to put something in the dresser drawers, and I saw the porn magazine on the bottom of the like cabinet thing, and I just remember walking out of the room, and I was looking for where my mom was, and my mom had, I guess, gone outside or something. Because I remember my dad laying in bed in his bedroom. They like the mattress was on the floor, so it was eye level with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just remember looking for my mom. I couldn't find my mom. By the time I went back into the bedroom, my brother had the magazine out and was showing my sister like different like pictures in the magazine. There was a girl like laid out in a lawn chair with like her boobs out and everything. And so he was touching on my sister where the boobs were.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, you have that, you know, they were feeling on each other. And so I was like, I just remember thinking like, that's weird. And so I went and I told my dad, I woke up my dad and I was, "Dad, they've got like a weird magazine in there, like naked magazine." And so my dad like very quickly like jumped up and went in there and was like, "You're not supposed to have this, like, don't get these out of my room," you know, stuff like that, like trying to like tell them. He didn't do it in like an angry way or anything like that, just telling them like, "You're not supposed to have this, don't go and take these." And he like took them all, and I was like, "There's more in the drawer." He grabbed the ones out of the drawer and took them back into the bedroom. And that was the most vivid like memory that I have of that. But I in my mind, that's what onset a lot of my stuff. So growing up, whenever I would spend the night over there, my brother was very touchy. So whenever we would play Prince and Princess, like, because I was very much into Barbie,
Mm-hmm.
and my sister, of course, being a little sister, is into everything that I'm into.
Mm-hmm.
So she always wanted to be the princess, and she wanted her knight in shining armor. So like, either I would play the boy or my brother would play the boy. When my brother would play the boy, he wanted kisses. So like, they would kiss each other. My brother would kiss me, you know, and then he would try to do tongue, and I'm like, this feels weird. Like, this is, so my brother was my first kiss, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very,
It's an Alabama shit right there.
yeah, very odd.
Sorry.
Yeah, but like we were kids, like we didn't know anything.
Somewhat innocent.
Well, yeah, you guys didn't know any different.
Yeah. At this time, I was like 8, 9, and then it didn't make it any better when my uncle had board game, and my uncle to this day swears up and down he never had board game. I vividly remember Sean, my cousin, bringing out this board game, and it had little cardboard cutouts of naked women, and it was basically like Naked Monopoly.
An adult version of Monopoly.
Yeah.
It was an adult game.
Yeah, it was a very adult game, but it looked like Monopoly, and my cousin brought out, it was like, do you want to play this? Like, it's supposed to be like a really fun game. Like, when dad has it out and plays it, like, he sounds like he's having a lot of fun. And I'm like, yeah, we can play a game. And so then when we're, like, playing it, and we're trying to do, like, what the cards say to do, and he would do stuff with me. Touch me in different places. He ate me at one point.
Your cousin?
Cousin. We're the same age.
Your microwaves. Your microwave. Your microphone
is going out?
Yeah.
Okay, is this one good?
Yeah, that one's ready. There we go.
Okay.
That means ours are probably going to go out here pretty soon.
Whoops. Okay. So, it was very... I just remember thinking, like, this is weird. And I just remember thinking, like, this is wrong, but I don't know if this is entirely wrong. You know what I mean? It was very much a confused, open state.
Yeah.
And I would stay over at my uncle's house a lot. And so there was a lot of the times where, like, because my cousin would play Barbies and stuff with me. And we would play, like, with his Hot Wheels and stuff. And there was points in time where he would, like, take his Hot Wheels and, like, use me as the road.
Uh-huh.
You know, and he would want to touch and different things. So when it made it worse, about 9, 10, 11 years old I was, my brother and Sean both would gang up on me and want to be touchy and feely. And I just remember at one point Andy walked in on it to come in and check on us because we had gotten quiet, my uncle, and was like, we don't do this, like, this is wrong, you know, this is your sacred, like, these are your no-no spots. So that was my first reaction for this is wrong.
Uh-huh.
And I was 11 when he told me that. And then it just kind of got swept under the rug without that. We never, like, talked about it, how it happened, how it came to happening. We never talked about any of that. It was just my uncle, like, sat me down and was like, this is your no-no spots. They, like, boys don't touch your no-no spots.
So, but it was never addressed after that.
Yeah. So.
Another thing that got swept under the rug.
Yes. So, again, like, right when I started my period, because I started my period at 12, right before my birthday.
You can move that if that's annoying you.
Thank you. Move it over here.
Okay, can't watch Grandma.
Whoops. So I just remember, it was at one of my birthday parties. I don't remember how old I was, but I knew I'd, like, just started my period. My mom was talking to me about pads versus tampons and all of this, that, and other. And I know I started at, like, 12, right into 13 when I started my period. And I was on my period, and he was curious about it, like, what that means, what it is. And I'm like, you know,
who?
My cousin Sean.
Okay.
And he was curious about, like, what that meant. And so I was trying to, like, as a child, like, explain to him what I was explained, you know? And so he's like, so where does that, like, go exactly? And I was like, it goes like in my no-no spot, basically. And he kept pushing, like, well, show me. Well, I mean, it's not like I haven't already seen you before. Like, just show me. I don't understand. And I did, and then he wanted to touch me, and I'm like, no, like, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, Andy said that's not okay. Like, we're not supposed to be doing that. And he was like, okay. And then he kept pressuring. So I got up and I went and I told my grandma about it. And I was like, Sean's trying to like touch me, and I'm not like okay with that. You know, Andy said that this isn't what we're supposed to be doing. And Andy went in there, whooped him for it, and left it alone. Nothing was ever discussed after that.
So he never got taught you can't touch girls like that, or you can't be like that. That it was just immediate.
You
Just
got an
punishment, but not addressing why you're doing that.
Yeah. You just got an ass whooping called me.
And that doesn't help him as a child. You know, he's still in the child mind.
Yeah.
And so that definitely didn't help him at all.
No.
It was just, that could have, in some ways, that could have pushed him more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And was that the last time where?
That was the last time that me and Sean did anything, and me and my brother didn't do anything past, I want to say 8 or 9. That last incident with Sean was the last time that my brother did anything.
All you kids were really introduced to these sexual
through games and magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So easily. It was just so easily accessible, and nobody taught you guys anything. So it was
about
any of it. It was just, we don't talk about this, you know.
Yeah, you just don't do this.
What Andy told you.
Yeah,
and that's why those kinds of things is just, that's,
it needs to be talked about more.
It does, because people don't realize that they have this stuff in their household, and of course, you know, nobody.
They're innocent. They're children. They see it. They don't think any different of it.
But
they
it
do.
Actually creates a curiosity way before curiosity should be created.
Yes. They're like, I'm going to get a little controversial here. Kissing in kid shows. There's one that's going around where there's two girls kissing in a kid show. I don't care about, it's kissing period. Kissing should be in a kid show. Yeah. Across the board at all. Holding hands is one thing because that's more of an innocent. You know, I don't mind holding hands to show that kind of love and care for somebody.
Especially in a moment of like support or something like that.
Exactly. But I as a mother to be am going, if there's any kind of kissing in any kind of kids show, that's not okay.
Like, let alone like just amongst family members. I can't tell you how many times I have been asked, or my brother and sister have been asked, like, okay, give auntie a kiss goodbye, give uncle a kiss goodbye. Like,
I've talked about this so many times.
Yeah. Like, and going through the things that I went through at such a young age, like, that's never gonna happen in my family ever again. Like, if I ever have kids, like, absolutely not.
You know, and there's a lot of the older generation, or there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, well, I don't think I should not be able to give my grandson a kiss, you know.
A kiss on the cheek.
A kiss on the cheek, exactly.
A kiss on the forehead.
Yeah.
There shouldn't
never
be no...
No, I don't
I'm almost say this right now, and this is going to sound violent. I will smack the ever-living shit out of somebody if I see their lips on my child's lips.
Yeah, no. Never lips to lips.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make that clear right now for anybody. If I ever catch that shit. Absolutely not. I won't even do that.
Since we're not having cameras, let me explain to our audience right now how red Giselle's face is right now. It's not just her face, it is her chest and her shoulders that are turning red. She's so red that her lips are turning purple.
The things that you experience are things that I talk about and I express with people. Like I told my mom, and I said this on a previous episode, I am going to teach my daughter that it's a vagina and it's a penis. That there is nothing more to call it other than that, because those are the technical terms for them. And there's no reason why she can't be taught that.
No, because she needs to know. You don't touch that. That way, if there's a situation with what you're talking about, the touch my cookie or whatever.
Yeah, there was. I saw something where a woman said that her daughter came to her and said that somebody touched her cookie. And because cookie is used as a term for private parts and for vagina, it was very confusing and conflicting. And the way her daughter worded it at 5 years old was like freaking the fuck out over it. And, it probably would have been a lot different for you if your family expressed on the sexual, part,
But how do you handle a situation other than turning to, a lot of people don't want to bring in outside sources into their family when it comes to situations like this because of what happens at that point.
Yeah.
The families start being torn apart, this and that.
Yeah.
And it's really, really difficult to say how to go handle that, because your parents were probably just seeing it, or your uncle was just seeing it as you guys were being curious and you don't do those things with each other.
Yeah.
Not understanding. I just find
that this happens every single time we're alone.
Yeah.
And that's where and this is where another thing comes in: boys will be boys.
Yeah.
And I can see your family saying that.
Well, I remember
they've said it on numerous accounts.
And
kids will be kids, and then where they're just in their curious phases.
And no kid should be curious about those things at those stages.
Yeah.
Talking to them and teaching them about it. Parents should be the ones to teach them.
Well, we talk about putting up guns, locking up guns from our kids, and this and that, but we don't talk about locking up pornography. We don't talk about making sure that we put it in places that it's not going to be easily found.
And it's so different from when we were kids to now, where it's even more
accessible. It's on your freaking computer. It's on your phone. It's on all these places. And your kids are nosy.
And this goes back to, the numerous accounts that you and me have talked about, Jess, about all of the computer games that come out when we were kids.
Oh my lord. We had I will call them out. Disney had their own website on computer games. We had Neopets, which was more of innocent.
We had Barbie. We had
you have all these
Bratz, American Girl. We had Girls Go Games was the absolute worst website to go play games on. Okay, so Girls Go Games, I was probably the worst and the most accessible one that I have ever played growing up. So it's just a web page that you went to, and it was Girls Go Games, and it just had dress-up games, makeover games, just innocent girl games. But all the ads on the sides, that used to come up, were all sex ads.
And it happens
all sex games,
and it happens on almost all of these kid games.
And
excuse the fuck out of me.
Now this was like 2010, 2012.
Back when I was in middle school, high school, and I didn't have as much access to the computers like most kids did, but I still seen those kinds of things.
Yeah, of course you did.
Vegas, it was it was billboards everywhere we went. It didn't matter. There was titties everywhere.
I guess I'm just gonna have to use your mic. I'm sure they probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. It's showing that they
can. You can just stick it on top of the.
And
there you go.
But with and so that was how it was accessible to me in a lot of areas, was just Vegas.
Well, yeah,
you saw a woman walking down the street and practically nothing. And some of them didn't have anything on. So, but
I would play on my grandma's Facebook, or when I was allowed to have a Facebook. I didn't have a Facebook for Facebook reasons. I had Facebook so I could play Farmville.
I was just saying I missed that game.
and I played Farmville and Yoville and whatever that Peggle or Puggle game.
Now, I will say that a lot of those Facebook games, Farmville wasn't as bad.
No, Farmville wasn't as bad. Yoville was a lot of the open chats.
You can talk to other people and go into private rooms and talk and just be them, you two, talking in private rooms. So and I remember that because that was part of what I did.
That's what got you started.
It was part of it, yes.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, my aunt that lives in Kentucky, she got really close with my grandmother again. She was the younger of the siblings, so they were very much in and out. Yeah, my grandmother's sister.
Okay.
So my aunt. Yeah.
Your great aunt.
Yeah. She would go back and forth, being cool and not being cool, and this is one of the points in time where they were all really cool with each other. So I would have somebody to play online games with. That's how me and my Aunt Nancy communicated. So we would play Farmville together. We would play, I think it was Peggle or whatever that was. It was like a subscription service, and then you had access to all of these hidden mystery games. And that's what me and my grandma would do late at night, since me and her would stay up later.
I remember my mom was big time into Farmville. She loved her Farmville. That was how she relaxed, was her farm.
Yeah, the Farmville, and then we love the hidden object games.
Yeah, I
the murder mystery.
Any of that stuff because I fought having social media for so long.
Yeah. I feel that though.
Yeah,
but nobody and that's another thing is it's not talked about on how accessible it is to kids.
Yeah, and
how it's getting easier.
And well, it is talked about how it's getting easier, but it's
not being expressed hard enough to fight it. Other than Texas, certain states have banned certain porn sites.
Yeah.
So, in Texas, you can't access certain porn sites as long as your location is in Texas. But if I were to go Vegas,
you can have it.
I can have it. It would be accessible on on there again.
Well, how do they know where your location is?
VPN.
Huh?
Your VPN.
Yeah, they can see that I'm in Texas.
What tower your internet's located off of?
Yeah, but you're supposed to be able to turn off your location on your phone.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They can
That's Chrome, huh?
Yeah,
or whatever.
They can still track it because you're still bouncing off the
satellites,
satellites and the towers, the cell phone towers, and everything.
Oh.
But
shows how much I know. I know that they're tracking me no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Have a Rolo.
Thanks. But honestly, Sabrina, thank you.
Yes, I think your story will help a lot, and maybe open up some parents' eyes on the fact that you worry about gun safety, but you don't worry about the things that are in your drawers that are accessible to your kids. Your kids are nosy.
Yeah.
Like kids finding toys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not trying to shame anybody for having anything like that. With each their own. But when these things are accessible to these,
or if they find them, talk to them about it.
Teach them about it. Not go, we don't touch these things, and then we're gonna let it be a punishment for finding it. When kids are going to be nosy and they're curious. Yeah. That's just how it goes. You're killing their curiosities.
I used to ransack my mom's room every time she left.
Yeah.
It's out there. How many times have I ransacked through your shit and I found pipes that I shouldn't have found?
Yeah.
And all I did was close it back up and put it away. I'm not supposed to know that's there. We're going to carry on to something else. Flat out, I found shit I wasn't supposed to. It's just how it goes. We're kids. Kids do that shit.
Kids know a whole lot more than what we give them credit for. They can feel a whole lot more than what we give them. Because living in this world, the longer you live in this world, the more numb you become.
Yeah.
And that's half the battle of the human, of being human. And kids, they're so sensitive to energy, and they can feel the emotional change. They can feel the thickness in the air. They can feel all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
So with those computer
12:21.
games and my aunt, that led into my freshman year. This whole thing happened with my family, and so my grandmother decided that, well, if they're going to take a trip, we're going to take a trip. So my grandma took me to Virginia for the first time the summer before my freshman year, right before I started high school. So I was 14, just turned 14, and we went to Virginia, and then we went to Kentucky and saw my aunt in Kentucky, and that's where started my other assailant.
No wonder you two get along so well. No wonder you two get, like, because you both have been
through a shit ton.
Through a shit ton of sexual assault. Like an uncommon amount, you know?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
So, and then back to the games. Well, my cousin I'm 14. She's in her going into her late 20s at this point. And she was, we were playing computer games, and we went to Girls Go Games. And we were playing some of those games. She's like, let me show you some other games, like, they're a little bit more interesting. And then we started playing sexual games. And then she's like, it led into, do you want to try that out? Like, it actually feels really good. You should try it.
And this is
my adult cousin.
Wow.
Her name was also Amanda.
Wow.
We called her Mandy. So, and at this time, like, this was the cool cousin, because I've met her like 2 or 3 times. My my great grandfather passed away, and I've seen her go through so much shit in the family and be exiled from the family. She did have some form of autism, and she had a lot of mental problems. She went through a very depressive phase after her dad passed, and she never really came out of that. So she just was very lonely in her life. And anyway, I had spent the night there. We were spending a week there. And all throughout this week, it was, oh, we should try this. Oh, let's try this. Why don't you shave down there? Well, let me help you shave down there. Well, wow, you smell like really sweet down there. She's like, do you want to feel good? I can help you like feel really, really good. And I'm like, in which way? And at this time it was sexual, and she ate me out. I was like, wow, that does feel good. But like, this is creepy. Like, you're my cousin. And she's like, well, I'm really only your first cousin. So like, this would be okay. Like, this is okay. She kept like, the more I pulled back and was like, this isn't okay. Like, I'm not comfortable with this. She would draw me in with something else. Well, yeah. This is okay. Like, I'm only your first cousin. This is legal. This is like, your grandma's not going to mind. Your grandma likes me. Like, and this isn't anything really. It's just, I'm just helping you feel better. Feel good. At this time, I've gone all the shit with Logan. I've gone through the shit with Manuel. And here's another one.
Yeah. You faced so much already, and
all within the same 2 years.
Wow.
The next year that I went out there, that very next summer, went out there, and this time we only stayed 3 days. And she went through and did the same old stuff. At this point, she had me fully convinced, like, that I needed to leave Logan, that I needed to be with her, like, that she could provide for me, that she would take care of me.
She's wanting a relationship with
you.
you.
She wanted full-on relationship with me. And she's like, it is legal, like, because she was already a lesbian. And she was like, you know, this is okay. Like, people do this all the time now. This is all the time when they were talking about legalizing gay marriage and like, this is all okay. Like, you know, and she's showing me forums. She's showing me games. She's showing me movies.
She's introducing you into a lot of things.
Yeah, she's flooding me with all of this propaganda, basically.
This is where it really opened up for you.
Yes. And like, even when I went back home for months, she's blowing up my phone and calling me and, oh, I miss you. I missed your scent. Will you send me pictures? I never sent her any pictures, but she kept on. And
you're how old at this time?
I was 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
Wow. It went on for years where she, like, because we went up there every summer. And the last 2 summers that we went up there, I went up the first 3 times. And I never went back up there again.
So you've basically faced sexual abuse your entire life from every which direction.
Family, non-family.
Non-family, school, and nothing has ever been done about it.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. I just stopped going.
Yeah.
I missed out on so many experiences with my grandparents. I always used work as an excuse.
Yeah.
Because at this time, I started, you know, working. I had band in the summertime at this time. And I'm like, you know, I don't want to go. Like, you know, I want to go, but I have so much stuff going on.
And
like,
she's
why don't
just
y'all
been
go up there?
obsessed with you all this
Yeah.
time. She's just completely obsessed with you.
Yeah. So I just would tell my grandparents, like, I really have a lot of fun, but I just have so much going on here. Like, it's okay. I'll just stay here. So my grandma would let Logan come over and stay with me. And so that way I had somebody in the house. I wasn't alone at, you know, 16, 17, staying at the house for 2 weeks by myself. So I would just walk to my band practice, do my band practice, and come back. And Logan would come over after he had, you know, school or whatever, and we would stay there. And she stopped messaging, she stopped everything, and then she would just post all the time on Facebook. This, like, very depressing, nobody wants me, nobody loves me. She did get married again afterwards, and she just never reached back out again, which helped me in a lot of areas. But a couple of years ago, now it's been 3 years. 3 years. It's been 3 years that she offed herself.
Ooh. Ow.
And that's what led to my just conversation last night was, you know, some people find so much relief when their assailant passes.
Yeah, that's kind of, we were talking about that with Amanda.
That was how I brought up the conversation, and I brought up somebody else that I know, and won't put their name or anything else.
Yeah, there's multiple people that we know.
And you know, and I brought that up, and
not telling anybody to go do anything stupid.
No.
Like,
yeah,
that's not what we're saying.
If they pass in their own way,
you're
allowed to feel that relief. You're not wrong for feeling that.
You don't feel guilty for feeling some kind of relief,
because there's a lot there that you went through. There's a lot there that still piled on your chest that you're going.
Especially when somebody's as obsessed as she was with you.
Yeah, she had me fully, like, believing, like, when I turn 18, like, we're gonna be together and everything's gonna be fine. Like, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, you know. So it was it was bad.
That is.
Well, on that note, we have another recording here in a minute.
But honestly, Sabrina, I think that you coming and talking about it, I appreciate you coming on here. I've been wanting one.
Yeah.
I have to say thank you for trusting me with all that.
Well, of course.
And
You know, on here.
Trusting on here,
It's not easy, and I just hope that we can have more raw stories like yours, because you gave us. That's what we like to have. Those raw, deep stories that give out the real things that are going on in this world from our past to today.
Yeah.
And on that note, everybody knows they can reach us out on Look Into the Glass
On
Facebook.
TikTok, Facebook.
And our email, one to look in through thru34theglass@gmail.com. I didn't stutter on it.
Yeah.
I stutter all the time. And catch us on.
I'm sure we'll have Sabrina on more.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Funsies.
Funsies!
All right.